after some counter poaching in Africa, I started learning that you can use a camera to highlight a problem and bring about global support for countering something that's very wrong. And I started learning about child trafficking. And that's when I got my heart broken. I'm like, man, this is a sick and dark and ugly covert operation. It's a domestic operation inside the United States, 38 to $50 billion a year in revenue. So I'm trying to comprehend how many children have to be sold and for what kind of heinous purpose to generate 38 to $50 billion a year. That's, if it's closer to 50 than 38, that means it's bigger than all pro sports combined annually.
Damn.
So what you fought to prevent and what I fought to prevent is already happening, and it's happening here. So I'm like, I'm done. 60 countries, bro. 60 countries I've been to around the world. I'm not going anywhere else ever again in defense of my country when what's happening is already here. And so the fight is here. So sending us somewhere else, I don't see where that's productive anymore. And so I just decided for me, my fight was going to be to expose and compromise this domestic covert operation of child trafficking and all the sick, demonic evil that's happening to children with the Harvey Weinsteins, the Jeffrey Epsteins, the Ghislaine Maxwells, and all the others that haven't even been exposed. I'm going to rip the lid off of it and ruin the whole thing. And I'm going to do it in a way that's so bold and so brash that nobody else dares do it, and just carry a camera and expose the whole thing. And so I spent 3 years filming a documentary called CONTRALAND, and it is intended specifically to compromise the evil domestic covert operation of child trafficking inside the United States, to empower the American populace with the knowledge of what's going on, how our children are being hunted, and how it works and what we can do about it. And so that's what I did. And boy, my name has been smeared and attacked in ways that I never even thought of. I never even imagined. I mean, talk about imaginative. There's been all kinds of, ways of attacking my name since then. It's just been very nasty and ugly, but I don't care. I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm doing the right thing. I got some legends behind me. I got Jack Farmer. Look, the guy that Tom Clancy wrote the Jack Ryan character after, his real name is Jack Farmer, a friend of mine, and he's on my board, and he helps craft some of our operations. Bob Hamer, who in the FBI, he was a Marine, and when he was in the FBI, they sent him undercover inside of a pedophile organization called NAMBLA. We used to make jokes about it in the SEAL team, right? Because nothing's off limits in the SEAL team. He went inside of NAMBLA undercover and got 8 convictions on their senior pedophiles there. Damn. So I've got Admiral Moore on our board. I've got friends and teammates that I've worked in different agencies with that I've known for decades, guys that I've gone to war with, guys that have gone to Africa with me, guys that I've been in the covert operations and contracts with. Sawman anywhere, anytime. So these are the guys I go and do work with now. And there's no greater mission. So Veterans for Child Rescue is just a nonprofit organization that I founded to help fund and support our operations, protecting the little ones here. And it's pretty cool when somebody from NAVSPEC War called me last year and said, Craig, our daughter skipped town with a guy that was quite a bit older. She thinks he's her boyfriend, and they've gone down to Carolina or somewhere, and we're scared to death. Can you help? And we were able to help direct him and get within, I think it was in 48 hours. And more recently with Super Bowl, there was a girl that we had rescued out of Texas several years ago, and she's very street savvy. And we had run it's called a geo fencing operation. And really what it is sending out messages to smart devices on an alert. It's almost like an Amber Alert. Here's what to look for, and here's how to report it, but on child trafficking. So we've got technologists that from the right backgrounds that can do that kind of thing. So we were part of that. And I said, hey, I called her up and I said, do you want to have a part in this? and make your contributions on what to look for. She goes, oh, show me what you got already. So I sent her what we were working on, and she sent back some very smart SOPs on what to look for and how to challenge people for IDs and then win. And the Intel guys were pretty impressed. They're like, Craig, she's sharp. I'm like, I told you she's sharp, man. So she's 22 now, I think, and doing well. And it's great to see that come full circle and her starting to give back and help others.
Yeah.
Starting to heal up and recover from her life and that, being trafficked on the streets kind of a thing. So, it's an interesting type of fight. It's different than anything I'd experienced in the SEAL teams or in law enforcement. It's just a different way to serve your country, your people.
Yeah, I know that you've actually, because we've been technically friends on Facebook and Instagram, all these places for a while now, and you've been doing. I think it's important to note that you've been doing this before it became so popular in the news with the Weinsteins, the Epsteins. You've been doing it, before it was cool, lack of better words, because now the media and everybody else is finally giving it attention, because there's characters behind it that are worth, that they feel like. It's not until you got a famous guy doing it that the news finally goes, oh, maybe we should pay attention to this, right? I mean, but you've been doing it before that. You've got quite the history with this.
Yeah, brother, I started as soon as I could. It's been 5 years now since we founded the org, and it was 2 to 3 years prior to that a friend of mine from the CIA let me know that the area that we'd grown up just north of Houston had become the hottest epicenter for it. And that's what really ticked me off and caused me to want to compromise. And that's when I realized the reason this is so rampant is because the people are unwitting. It's a covert domestic operation, so it's easy. They have impunity, and I have to take that from them. That's the biggest thing. Rather than going face shooting, 5,000 or even 10,000 traffickers, I could alert 340 million people to it and bring down the whirlwind on them, right? Change the laws, change the culture, change the education, changes psychological healthcare, everything against it, right? So some people don't understand the psychology or the strategy of using a camera rather than a pistol at a one at a time kind of thing. Yeah, we do kinetic operations. We got 23 child predator arrests with 100% conviction rate already, and joint sting operations, and we've got a bunch more assists and recoveries and other things that we're working on. But those are good because every child predator harms an average of 70 children each throughout their lifetime. So every guy you take off the game board represents 70 children that won't be raped by him. That's pretty cool.
Damn.
If I were one of those children, I'd be very grateful.
Yeah.
Raped or not raped? I'll choose not raped, please. Thank you. So we like doing that. But man, blowing it up and multiplying it by millions with a camera and alerting a sleeping populace to it is incalculably powerful. And that's the war that I'm making now. I'm just, like you said, we're unconventional. I'm trying to figure out, how do I win this being a busted up veteran and father with what I have? Yeah. I don't have Spectre on station, I don't have, I don't have Apaches over the ridgeline that I could call in. I don't have, F-18s at an IP, a couple of clicks back. I don't have all these assets that I can call in. So what can I rally as a citizen now and make war against this? I can expose it through media. So brother, that's what we're doing, and we're all about it.
Well, good. Well, I'm hoping, number one, thanks for continuing to do what you do and drawing attention to that. I mean, no doubt it needs it. And I'm glad you did it long before it became popular on the news with all these famous idiots who seem to have been doing it for decades, which is crazy to me. It's just decades they had already been doing this. And it's not until they got to fame and fortune that they finally got, put in a corner and either suicided or put in jail like they should have been, Yeah.
Well, I started off only to make a documentary about it, to expose the whole thing, and nobody in Hollywood would help. They would say they were going to help. Oh yeah, that's God's work, Craig. Yes, absolutely. We'll do that.
Yeah.
And
I bet they didn't help.
Yeah, months turned into years. And I'm like, you people are blowing me. You're just blowing smoke. You're
Right.
full of it.
Yeah.
Not men and women of action, and I am. So I founded a nonprofit organization. I started rallying the funds, and I made the dang thing myself.
Well, you've done great, man. I see your work all the time. You're really good about posting about it and talking about it. And we're not by any means done yet, but just so that right here, right now, people can go check out Veterans for Child Rescue, V4CR.